Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first Ask Me Anything for Neuro Pride Festival this year. Neuro Pride Festival this year is happening between the 4th and the 8th of August, with the 8th of August being Neuro Pride Day. And we'll have lots of meetups and Ask Me Anythings and myth-busting videos and lightning talks. Lots and lots of stuff scheduled. So if you'd like to check out Neuro Pride Ireland on Facebook or on Twitter, on Instagram, I think we also have a TikTok. We'll be sharing information on how to get involved and how you could submit. So without further ado, I would like to introduce or say welcome to Ash Banks, who has very kindly agreed to answer questions about being a neuroqueer author. They are the author of the series of queer neuroqueer fantasy books, the Heinlein Finches Series and the Margin Street series, amongst others. And they also have written some non-fiction books around neurodivergence, in particular, really excellent book about ADHD called Going Official, about getting a diagnosis and the challenges within that. And also, just more recently, a book called Facets of Neurodivergence, where they asked for community input. And honestly, I was very fortunate to read a pre-release of this, and it's so well written. It's funny, it's interesting, it's fascinating to see the things that I know this is deeply uncomfortable for you, but I'm saying it anyway. But it really was really interesting. It was just really fascinating to go, oh, this is a thing. This is actually a thing. It's not just some random thing.
But didn't you want to kill people and vandalize property after reading it? Because
I generally want to do that anyway. That's my baseline. So yes, it just confirmed to me that I'm completely right in that. Yes, my catchphrase in Neuro Pride is burn it all to the ground.
Yes. So yeah. I pretty much, I that's pretty much what I thought before doing the research on the book, and after having got on it, I was like, yeah, I'll bring the matches. I will bring the matches. Let's get on with it.
Yeah. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, launch right into it, because when two people with ADHD start talking to each other, we may or may not stay on topic. I'm not going to lie to you. So
I'm shocked.
So this is a question from one of your followers that they very kindly sent in. They said, what is the best strategy? And I apologize if I keep glancing. My ability to remember long sentences is limited at best. What is the best strategy that you've come up with to feel good in your mind and your body living as a neurodivergent person?
So in my body, I haven't come up with a good strategy. I'm pretty much a failure at that. Partly because I'm dysphoric as hell, and that's just, it's there. I'm trying to get that sorted out, but I can't just magically make it go away. And partly is because I'm just really bad at doing stuff like drinking water and eating vegetables and whatnot. So the body thing is sort of, let's just not talk about that. In my mind, this is not it's not a strategy I will recommend, but it's what worked for me. Like, once upon a time, I had a stepchild, and parenting her for me completely changed how I go about what I put myself through, what I tolerate, what I demand of myself, and everything. And so I was brought up masking all the way through, obviously, and very much like, if I didn't like something, there was something wrong with me. If I had a bad response to something, it was something wrong with me. If people were mean to me, it was something wrong with me. I must, and everything was basically my fault. I controlled the weather, I controlled people's moods, and when I was parenting my stepchild, the way, like, my standards for her were so very different to my standards for me. And to be honest, my relationship with my family hasn't been the same since, because it just sort of suddenly hit me. There's no way in hell I would have put myself, like, if I had been my child, like, you just don't, you just think, no, this is messed up. So definitely when I started trying to unmask and trying to sort of organize my life around what I needed, my strategy was to think, what would I do if I was looking after stepchild? Because that just put me just a completely different set of standards, completely different frame of mind. So I'm not recommending it. Although if I did that with regards to eating vegetables, that probably would also be a good thing, but let's speak of it. So yeah, that's what works for me.
Okay, this person had a follow-up question. Yeah. What's a thing that you regret putting time and energy into?
This is just going to sound really mean, but it's not actually. There's very few. I mean, there are things that project, ADHD, there are projects that I've started and quit and that kind of thing, or put a lot of work into something and then realized that just, I've had multiple careers, that kind of thing. But my main regrets are around people, which I find it difficult to say because it makes me feel really mean, but just the amount of time and effort I spent catering for people who didn't want me, they didn't want to be with me, they had, and because I think people who are not neurodivergent have this idea of masking as just putting your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And it isn't. And if price of having a friendship or a relationship with somebody is to live masked around them, just don't. It's not worth it. It's just so it's more about that.
Yeah. I actually would agree with you. A lot of my regrets would be around the amount of time and energy and effort I put into relationships or even work.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't appreciated. That I was trying so hard to people please or to mask so they'd like me.
Yeah.
And none of it was appreciated. And that kind of thing of I could have used that energy.
Yeah.
On so much more. Yeah.
Or literally just done nothing,
or actually looked after myself and drank some water.
And I think, and also at work, if you have, hang on, sorry, I got to yell at the dog. Addison. Oi. Sorry, my dog is engaging. I have a new puppy since we left, and she is a criminal. She specifically knows that if she does crime when I'm brushing my teeth or on the phone, I can't yell at her. Anyway, so I think like my boss at work, definitely in my last job, he worked out not my. I don't want to say my triggers, but that kind of the people pleasing was definitely something he used to get me to do it. And I'm like an extraordinary amount of bullshit things that. Oh, sorry, I've already slipped. Right. Try so hard. And I just, it wasn't a religion. Literally one of my colleagues at one point said, this is not a religion. This is a job. You go home, it's over. And I'm like, oh no, this is not how it works.
What are you talking about?
And my boss definitely took advantage of me in that sense because he just knew that it worked. So
yeah, it's an extra layer of vulnerability that I don't think people realize about neurodivergent people.
And the people that don't
when you go up masking, especially.
Yeah.
I find that there are people out there who will take advantage of that because it's become such a part of your persona. It's become such a part.
That's one of the things that frightens me. When you see I don't know whether you have them, but like around here, you see quite a lot of car stickers with like autistic child on board and that kind of thing. And I appreciate what people are trying to do, but for me, it's literally follow this car, prey on my child to a certain extent, depending on how it just.
To be honest, it's not something that I've seen as much. I do know of it, but it's not something, and I hope that it doesn't start becoming prevalent in Ireland because, as you said, it's leaving your child. First of all, it's not your.
No, it's not. It's not for you to
close, but also,
you
are because of the ad.
Yeah.
Like neurodivergent people aren't inherently vulnerable; they are made vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
And doing things like that increases that vulnerability.
That works.
So the next question from one of your followers, and I'm sorry that I'm barreling through, but needs more. What was the moment or situation that you began to realize your view of or understanding of the world was fundamentally different from other people?
Okay, so can I answer not with relation to my neurodivergence, but to the queer side of things? Because
Of course, yeah.
So in 2014, yes, the year was 2014. Bathroom bill in America, everybody's kicking off all this transphobic rage and all this nonsense and blah 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 blah. And at the time, I was heavily into self-defense. I've written some books on self-defense and stuff as well, under a different name, because I don't
under a different name completely, so nobody ever find them.
no, nobody will ever find me. And at the time, and I honestly had no idea. I've never hardly ever heard the word trans. You know, I've watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and I watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that was literally like what I knew pretty much. And I never really thought about it particularly. And then all this stuff kicks off, and I'm like, you know, what is this trans people that you speak of? And this guy who was transphobic as hell, it basically explained to me about the difference between sex and gender. And I was like, gender? You know, like you have a gender? And until that point, I swear, it never occurred. I thought it was all like this very arbitrary set of rules that people just followed for reasons I couldn't begin to fathom. I had no idea people have a gender, like an innate sense of just, and I was like, no, you don't.
I just,
you know,
do they?
you do. And yeah, and that was it. And that was like, you know, and I was not young.
Was I? Yeah.
And because I actually like I knew, like when I was I sort of when I was in kindergarten, I thought I was going to be a boy because I thought you had to pick. I was very confused. I didn't know about the genital side of things, and I thought you have to pick what you liked. And then I was like, oh no, but like boys get less, like, you know, you get dolls and the horses and the robots. They only get like, you know, they can't play with dolls, they can't have long hair. This was the 70s, I'm old. So I thought, oh no, that's all right, I'm going to be a girl after all, because you get more options, you know what I mean? You can have long hair and skirts and kind of thing. But I just, it never occurred to me that gender was a thing that people had. So a transphobe taught me about gender, and here we are.
And thank you to that person. Yeah.
I know, it just like, you know, I don't think that's what we intended to do. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, might have backfired spectacularly.
Well, yeah, so.
What aspect, these are very deep and meaningful questions. Your followers are very deep and profound. What
I don't know what they're doing like near me.
They're obviously wandered into your space by accident, but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean that. That was harsh. What aspect of yourself are you the happiest or most proud about? And how might these aspects be influenced by your queerness and or your neurodivergence?
So I don't know that I'm proud of it, but definitely this is going to sound horrible. If you are neurotypical and you're listening to this, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place. But I find generally neurodivergent people to be more fun. Sorry. And I am a neurodivergent person, and I live by myself in my house, and I like a lot of stuff. And I think I'm fun, for me anyway. Like I enjoy my own company, which I absolutely did not do when I was masking. Like, but when I let myself be neurodivergent and indulge my interest and passion, and like, you know, I want to do this and I want to write that, and blah, 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 and the house is an absolute shed, but I've got 72 hobbies. I am very entertained and very happy. And I don't know that many people my age that are that happy that often. I don't know, maybe they are and I don't realize it, but I wouldn't like to be beige, you know.
Yeah,
colory, neon and whistles and bells, and that's how it is, you know. And that's definitely the neurodivergent side of it. I don't think I mean but like, you know, if you took the ADHD out, it wouldn't be me. So
yeah, exactly.
But I'm definitely glad well, you know, I'm not saying it's a picnic, but I'm definitely glad I'm ADHD.
Now, this next question is presupposing that you have come to this realization, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It's from one of your followers. How did you come to the realization that you could be a blessing to others that share your neurodiversity?
I had to answer that on the website because it was like, this person I didn't. No. What happened was I got really, really annoyed. I get angry, and then I write because I can't talk to people and hit them on the head with wooden spoons or something. So
some sort of laws or.
So like the Going Official thing was literally supposed to be a blog post about statistics about lack of access to diagnosis. That was it. And then when I realized like 8 hours into a hyper focus or something that are written like 12,000 words with like 99 references or something stupid, I was like, okay, it's not a blog post anymore, is it? And then it sort of degenerated, but it was never intended to be a book. It just wasn't. And neither was the last one. Literally, I was writing something else entirely, which I will at some point finish. And I needed some numbers, and there were no numbers, and it was driving me very, very, very angry. Because you can't just go around and say, oh, by the way, neurodivergent people are more likely to be queer. Because people go, what's the data on this? And there is no data. There is no data on a lot of stuff. And so I was like, well, I'm just gonna, there are no numbers, so I'll just make some. It's simple.
Just ask people. Easy.
Yeah. And then you get some, and then I was like, oh, there's like loads of them. So no, I never intended to. I don't know if I'm a blessing or a curse or whatever. That's it's you can always practice.
It's one of the things of looking at the 6 and the 9, isn't it? You're a blessing to some and a curse to others.
Do not buy the books. Unfollow me. I'm not going to come to your house and proselytize about neuroqueerness in your front yard or anything like that. So you're quite safe from me.
Can I speak to you about?
It's literally, I wrote that both books happened by accident. I never intended to write them. I never started them. They started themselves, and then you get sort of hyper focused.
This will actually tie in, if you don't mind me kind of hopping in.
Go.
To a question I had, like, how does hyperfocus affect your work?
How does it? Basically, actually, if I had to, the question before about the bit I like the most or whatever it was.
The aspects of yourself. Yeah.
I love a good hyper. I love it. I love being hyper.
Nice, isn't it?
I love it. It just. It is the best sensation. I don't like it so much when you feel like your eyes are gonna boil out of your head, and you haven't peed in 8 hours, and the last time you drank was Tuesday, and you don't know Tuesday or which week. It's not.
And you can't actually get up because there's so much crap around you.
I can't move the papers, the notes, the papers. It's like, and then you come out of it and look at your keyboard, and you're like, oh, this is where I live, so yeah, I kind of learned to not put a stop on hyper. I will never willingly stop a hyper focus unless I'm fixated on something really horrible, or of a whatchamacallit thought. But no, I've just run with them because they are great. So yeah, so if I'm hyper focused, I've written the Creepology book I wrote in a week. And by the end of it, I couldn't make words. I was completely burnt out. But you get in, you do it, and then you come out and you go, what day is, where am I? What's. So yes. And it's great because I enjoy like that. And I have dogs, so I still leave the house occasionally, and I have to eat meals because they have to eat meals. So I'm quite safe. It's not like I can disappear in a hyper focus and,
completely. Yeah.
But they're great. I wish I could have more.
I think you have enough books now. No. Are there any character archetypes or plots that you've written multiple times because you enjoy it so much? Like, is there?
I have no control over my characters whatsoever. How like I'm now going to talk about something that I know nothing about because that's part of my charm. Like method actors, I'm kind of like a method writer. So the way I write is I think a person and I like a personality, and then I drop them into a setting, and then they do what I'm gonna do, and sometimes you're just like, no, please, just do not go into the dark basement. But it's so I have never like knowingly written. I've never knowingly written a book, to be honest, because I just take a story and run with it, and then what happens. But all of my characters are some kind of neurodivergent, and most of them are queer. And I do have some straight, there are some straight people in my books, at least two. They live perfectly normal lives. We have to accept them. They're there. They do their best.
Look,
I don't know that I have a non-neurodivergent character, though. I'd be a very weird brain to
try and write a neurotypical brain. Yeah. So that's fair enough. This kind of falls into a question that I had. Do you draw on your own life? And if so, how do you maintain boundaries between, it being semi-autobiographical or like, do you ever write anything and be like, oh, no, that's revealed too much of myself. I better just...
no, because I have no filters. I don't know if you noticed. Filters?
No, never.
Pretty much all of, not all my characters, but definitely all of my narrators are an aspect of me, or embodies some aspect of me, but none of them are me. And it's quite funny, actually, because quite a few people, there's one of my books which I absolutely hated writing because it was just like horrible to write, because it just was gnarly all the way through. There's a lot of horrible things happening in it. Is the last one, funny enough, of the Heinlein Finches, because I kind of burnt out on it. And everybody's like, oh, is the character you? Because I suppose it's a small female-ish person. And I'm like, God, I hope not. She's full. She's
Actually, that ties into a question that came in from one of your followers, if you don't mind me kind of interjecting.
No, go.
They say, were there any moments in writing where the plot or your characters or even just the prose surprised you or gave you clarity on something that you felt deeply on?
All right, so the whole, I don't know if I answer the questions, but I'm going to say it anyway. The whole of the Margin Street series is a love story between my ADHD and my anxiety. That's the two characters, literally. And I didn't, and at the time when I started writing them, I didn't know I was ADHD or had anxiety. I had no idea.
Wow.
So, and it was, I was having coaching at the time, and my coach was rather, because she's not my coach anymore, but she is autistic and ADHD. I didn't know I was neurodivergent because we never really spoke about it. And pretty much all the work I was doing with her was about unmasking, which was terrifying at the start. And I started to think, because there's always been two sides of me pulling in two very different directions. Because I have two very conflicting sets of needs, because one side of me needs everything structured and organized and and the same, because otherwise the world will implode, and we must think of all the possible permutations and commutations, plot ahead 25 years in each direction just to make sure nothing blows up. And the other side of me is ADHD, which, not great on the structure, not great on, so there's always been like a very strong internal pull in two different directions. And I was like, what if these two personalities, instead of being constantly at war, fell in love with each other and work together? Because it's actually, and it's a very functional relationship. It's two very dysfunctional people in a very, very functional relationship, because their skills and needs and everything they are sort of complements, they function better together than either of them do apart. So, but I wrote all of that when I started it. Like, the character finds out that they've got ADHD when I did.
Brilliant. So do you look back at it now and go, is it kind of, when you reread it, go,
obvious. It could not have been more obvious. It could not. And literally, when I find out I was ADHD, I was going around telling people very loudly and bouncily, because at the time, it's like I've spent, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months writing this character that my narrator has got a crush on, and they're like ADHD embodied. It is just like, the living personification of ADHD in the room, and you fall in love with them. and I was like, so I wasn't going to go, oh no, I got ADHD. This is terrible, terrible.
I'll have a field day with you. Yeah.
So I was going around going, I got golden retriever genes at everybody. And everybody was like, you did not know? Is this news?
I think that's really funny because my sibling got diagnosed with ADHD, and when they told me, I was just like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Because they were like, how did you hear what this person said to me? And I was like, yes I did, and I'm very surprised you don't know. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, and I find it funny as well how it opens up the flood. Sorry, tangent, but it sort of at the time I was like 40 something, you know, and I'm going around, I had no idea because obviously it wasn't in school. I don't even know if I went to school in Italy. I don't know if they even do ADHS now, so I don't know how far ahead they are. They move terribly quickly with the times. But a lot of my friends are younger, and all my younger friends were like, yeah, really, what a shock. We are shocked. And all my old friends were like, wait, hang on, wait, what? And it's opened up a floodgate, pretty much.
People finding out, actually, yeah.
And everybody I've lost count. I think there's probably about 3 people on my friends list that haven't been assessed now, you know what I mean? Because we tend to find our own, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
Now, this is I wanted to first say thank you very much for agreeing to do this and taking time out of your busy life to do it. But this is the question that people really want to know the answer to. The burning question. Are you, in fact, a collection of raccoons in a raincoat?
No.
There you go.
Raccoons in a hoodie.
A hoodie, damn it, right. I couldn't remember what it said.
Yes. Well, not for real though. My brain is 7 weasels.
7 weasels. You heard it here first, folks. 7 weasels.
It is the absolute truth. That's how, if you wanted to, and sometimes, and it's like hyperfocus is like when all the 7 weasels pull together and form Voltron.
Nice. A weasel Voltron. That's excellent. My brain is, because I'm autistic with ADHD, there's a video on YouTube. It's called 2 Types of Dogs. And what it is some guy's holding a hose, and there's one dog just lapping at it very calmly, very collectively, lapping at the water. And then all of a sudden, this other dog jumping through the water. And I was like, yep, there I am. That's me. That's my brain. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even, because with the, like, my anxiety was like a friend of mine calls it weight bearing anxiety. And it's like a lot of my social anxiety was masking the ADHD. My performance anxiety was masking the ADHD, and everything, like it was all there to. Sorry, my dog is being a monster. Addison, I will boil you. I will. She knows she can get away with it. Evil. And it's still like I still not use it, but you know, I have that space to access and whatnot. But I don't know, like if there was an autistic me I had to live with, I think they would end up killing me in my sleep. Like, I don't quite know.
It's quite a delight to have the boats in the one head. Yes, it is. Yeah.
You
were talking about, the autistic side of me needs lots of structure and routine and keeping things neat and tidy, blah, blah, blah. And the ADHD side has absolutely no capacity to do any of that.
We will not do the structure. We will not do routine.
So,
do you do a thing
anyway,
where, like, if you ever think, like, you know, would you like to win the lottery and eat loads of cake and meet your favorite film star? And you're like, yes. Would you like to do it on Tuesday between 2:30 and 3:30 every day, you know, every week? And no, it's like, if you schedule anything for me, it ruins it. Like, you could schedule the most wonderful, fantastic, like, I just cannot.
No, you're done.
Yeah. Because I think one of my weasels is definitely 2 years old forever.
Yeah. Demand avoidant. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So, Ash.
Are we finished?
Robin.
I think. Did I do good?
I think you did. I just wanted to say thank you very much and give your books an amazing shout out. The reason I said Ash and Robin is that your fiction books are published under Robin Banks, and your non-fiction, I think, mostly are published under Ash Banks.
Ash Banks, and some of them are published under AR Banks.
AR Banks, there's the other one. So please do check them out.
There will be
can't
freebies.
speak highly. Oh,
There
yes,
will
do
be
that.
freebies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be freebies during the Neuro Pride period. So go and check out. I will make as much stuff free as possible, but it is limited. Like for I have so many days per quarter, and some of them are not available this quarter. So I do my best.
Yeah, and that's between the 4th and the 8th of August. If people, that's the period you're talking about, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But some of them I can't make them free during that period, so just sort of check, because I do try and give them out for free.
I'm not going to lie to you. They're worth paying for. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
that's high praise indeed.
Free stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And I do really, really appreciate it.